Provide clear and consistent navigation. So navigation should be easy to understand and use. That means presenting learners with a consistent navigation structure and clear text-based labeling to help them find their way around. This doesn't just include the baked-in user interface that you can't change, but navigation is also affected by learning designers' content decisions too, and how they choose to present the content. So first example, this design is pretty cluttered, right? So from the get-go, content isn't clear, which can lead to struggles and confusion. So try not to do this. Here's another example. This one is a cleaner design with simple navigation and readable text. Not only does it create a friendlier user experience, but friendlier access too. So if you make sure to keep content elements concise, consistent, and labeled, all users can navigate to the important information. After all, you want them to spend the most time on the learning, not the navigation. Also consider that users interact in different ways. So if they're not clicking or tapping on the screen by sight or touch, they might be interacting in a linear way with a keyboard or a screen reader. With a keyboard, accessibility outlines indicate the element that's in focus on the page and allows users to select it. And with a screen reader, the words on the page are read out loud to them. So some important questions to ask when thinking about navigation are titles and labels easy to understand? What are the essential things that are most important to show? Do the learning modules follow a consistent structure? And are there any missing pieces? So if someone were reading the page to you, could you easily direct them to where you want to go? On to quick win number 2. Use headings and labels. These are more important than you might think. First, taking this for example, there's a lot of text here without enough distinction between the start, the end, or important parts along the way. It looks like there's a label used for some sections in the content, but these aren't really formatted, so they're not easily distinguishable. A rule of thumb is also to avoid long blocks of unformatted text because that makes it trickier for learners to get the information that they're actually looking for. So considering learners navigating with screen readers too, they'll have to scrub through audio of the learning content from start to finish here. So just to access that information that they need. Not only is it not a good experience to have to go through everything, it's simply not how people want to learn and access information. So an improved example shows better formatting that makes it easier to read. And what you might not immediately notice is that the larger text is actually using heading styles to add structure to the information. So what does that mean? When available in text editors, you can use the heading styles in a consistent way. It's not just affecting text size, it's affecting the information structure that helps all learners access the content on a given page. And so it creates a more navigable information structure from top to bottom for those navigating with screen readers as well, so they can jump to the content that they need. So some quick ways to impact this: make sure that you format your content so learners can understand what each section is about. Use the heading styles to make it easier to read and navigate. And then one common mistake to avoid is interchanging heading for style with bolded text. So if text is not a header, you don't need to use the heading for style. This can be a little bit confusing. So if it just needs to be bold, just bold the text. Okay, on to quick win number 3. Use descriptive links. Basically, this means don't get in the habit of labeling links, click here. Instead, add meaningful description. So think about it this way. If you ever used Google Maps to navigate in your car, how awful would that experience be if the only thing it could ever tell you was go here? It wouldn't be very useful at all. So don't create that for learners. And here's an improved example where links are a little bit more descriptive to communicate what it is and its purpose. For example, view the call center practice scenarios. That just gives learners a little better context so they know what it is and they can decide to open it. So when creating hyperlinks, remember to avoid the click here, read more text. The link itself should be concise, but enough to communicate what it is. And if you're linking to an email address, go ahead and just use the email address as the link. So that way users can open it from the page or they can copy it to use it elsewhere if they like.